Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Sunday Service Podcast. I am your host, Sister Stephanie.
And I'm your host, Sister Sally.
And we are taking it a little downtown this episode. No, we're switching it up today. We wanted to give you guys an episode where you can get to know us a little more now that we have a couple videos out, and obviously we've shared some of our personal experiences and things that we've gone through and our opinions on certain things. And I put out a question box on my Instagram, and I asked you guys to just chime in and let us know some things you might want to hear about. But I feel like we need to give you guys a little bit more of us, so maybe it'll give you guys more incentive to have some more questions or things that you want our opinions on, and shit like that. So I'm really excited
it's kind of fun.
Yeah, I'm excited just to like not have one specific topic that we talk about and just talk about what's going on in our lives, how we're doing, and then we do have some questions that we're going to get to that you guys asked us that we're really excited to answer.
We both had like a really long weekend this weekend.
Yours was definitely longer than mine.
Yeah, it was.
But even one night for me, like that, that did me in. It was a long weekend.
It was Rolling Loud weekend, and we both attended. Love Rolling Loud. Love the Rolling Loud team.
Yeah, absolutely. We're always there to support. That was like I don't even know, maybe my 6th or 7th or 8th even Rolling Loud, like actual show.
Same.
One weekend a couple of years ago, I went 3 days in a row, and I don't think I could ever do that again. And then I went twice in New York and LA and back in Miami. But now that I live here and it's just so fucking hot in the summer in Miami,
so hot.
I was like, all I really have in me is one day, and I did it, but Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was a lot. I was like recovering. I was like sleeping all day yesterday. I couldn't even like wake up.
I feel like most people that I know that did the 3 days, like I don't even know if they're still alive yet.
No,
everyone's getting IVs and everyone's just like home, sleeping, taking care. It's funny, like you live in Miami when you wake up on a Sunday morning and no one is outside. Like it's actually like a ghost town. I walked the dogs and I was like, oh my God, like everyone is recovering. Obviously not everyone attends every party or every festival and stuff, but
it's also like a really slow time in July besides this past weekend. Like July in Miami is like a
like
ghost
people
town.
Don't usually stay for the season. And I totally get why now that I live here. I'm like, next summer we are out.
I know, it's so hot.
It's brutally hot. So that alone was just exhausting, and I had a good time. But it was difficult to like party and like while out when you're sweating your ass off. And Sally just did my extensions last week, so I had all of this hair just like down my back, and I was dying, and everyone was sweating.
Everyone,
like a lot of people's.
You
DNA.
had other people's sweat all over you.
Ugh, it was a lot. It was a lot. So. You already know that shower after Rolling Loud hit different. And I feel good now. I feel like if I did Sunday too, I probably would like not even really be alive for this, but I had Sunday to recover, and then yesterday, and then today I went to the gym, and I'm feeling good. How are you feeling?
I feel good now. I went to the gym later in the day today, and I needed that. That's like what reset me. Like I was literally feeling like
it's like the hardest thing to do, especially when you're feeling out of it. But once you do it,
oh my God, it takes you right out of that.
And that's like in any situation, whether you've partied all weekend or you just like haven't been to the gym in a minute. Like no matter what, when you go, you're going to feel better. So just fucking get it together and go to the gym, bitch.
They always say like when you don't want to go the most is when you need it the most.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's the truth. That is 100% the truth. Mm-hmm. So I feel like a lot has changed since we first started the podcast.
It has.
This is going to be the 7th episode.
Crazy.
It is crazy. It really is. And time just goes so fast. But we're both, just rolling with the punches and just taking life day by day. A lot has changed in our personal lives, our professional lives. And we want to give you guys like a little bit of the inside scoop. Just so, you can obviously just get to know us more. Like, what else? You guys are our sisters and our brothers and just our friends. So we want you guys to know what's going on. If you want to take it from there.
I mean, let's see. Okay.
That's a dig.
My life has changed a lot since we started filming. It's great though. Like I will
I think
say,
for the better.
Yeah, it's amazing. I recently left my place of employment and I am off on my own traveling.
Round of applause. Yeah, like it's a good thing.
Traveling to do hair and then focusing on our podcast. And so far, it's actually been very good, like way better than I thought.
It's funny because it was one of those things that you were talking about so much and that you wanted so much, and then like it happened for you. Mm-hmm. And it almost was like, wait, did I want this? And you were like, oh my God, I was literally praying for this. Well, and now like, this is my reality.
Yeah, I like legit was manifesting having more time to focus on the podcast, because this is truly something that I'm so passionate about. Not that I'm not passionate about hair. I've just kind of realized that as I've gotten older that my passion for like a greater purpose is like more apparent now. Mm-hmm. And like that's just trying to, you know, use my voice to impact. And I think that manifesting and praying about it got me to this point. 100. And it's actually been super good, not only emotionally, spiritually, but financially as well. Mm-hmm. And I can only thank God and all my support team for that. So I'm really happy to be where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
I think like not knowing the next thing is like kind of exciting instead of scary like it used to be for me. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's.
Hi, boy. Yeah, I am someone who like I crave stability in my life, but then I realize that nothing is really like set in stone, you know? And I think that just goes for like everything in life. So if you just ride the wave because it's the only thing that you can do and enjoy it and make the most out of it, like how can it be a bad thing? I think having more time for you right now has like been a blessing. I know that you were like there every single day, and it was making it hard for us to make time to film and even just, you know, for you to get a workout in and whatever you got to do. Like now you have more time and more time to just focus on you and the stuff that you're doing. Like, I mean, when is that ever going to be a bad thing? Like,
no, exactly. And I think that's like a little lesson too that I learned in the midst of it was, I was kind of just operating on autopilot and like doing what I thought was the right thing to do for my life because it made the most sense. Like,
and it probably felt like secure.
It was like more structurally made sense, you know, like I had structure. I had to be somewhere by a certain time.
Yeah.
You know, and honestly, I think through the whole thing, I was like forced to be like, okay, I'm good. I need to channel everything that I've been asking for into these things. Mm-hmm. And it's been amazing. And I think that if you're ever like wanting to, you know, make something that you're dreaming about or hoping for or striving towards, like a goal, that like the only way you're ever going to know is if you just do it, you know?
Yeah. It's just like, the unknown is like the most beautiful part.
But being unhappy somewhere is not worth it at all. Like, I don't care how stable you are, how like anything, how it feels financially or whatever. Like it's not worth you being unhappy.
Yeah, I guess that goes for, you know, your work life, your relationships, obviously, like main thing. I definitely think that I'm sorry, lost my train of thought. What was I saying?
It goes for anything relationship wise.
Right. If you're unhappy or if you feel stuck, like, you know, even if you don't know what tomorrow looks like, you can do it. You can handle it. As long as you just like, you know, tell yourself like, I got this and I'm good regardless. That's all you really need.
That like goes back to like a lot of things. We've mentioned this like so many times, like relinquishing control over situation. Like you cannot control the future because it hasn't even happened yet, you know? So like that is causing you to operate in fear instead of faith. Mm-hmm. And like, that's when anxiety and things like that creep into your life and it makes you unhappy. Mm-hmm. So just kind of letting you know, life leads you into the path that you're supposed to go is like everything. And then you just feel so more like at peace and like, I don't even know. I feel like a weight was lifted off my shoulders, honestly. Like I felt like at one moment I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? And then the next minute I was like, oh,
this is what I needed to do.
wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is great.
Well, we were talking about this too, because I told you that my like lesson of the year last year was detachment and learning how to detach from things, from people, from places, and move and do all of this detaching. It like was really hard, and it seemed really scary, and it seemed, you know, it's really scary to jump into the unknown and be like, you know, in a new place or in a new relationship or a new place of work and not know what's going to happen. But like, that's when the growth happens. And that's when like the things that you need to grow are going to come true, and they're going to happen, you know? So just detaching from like that identity of you, like at work and with these people and how they knew you and where they hold that, like you have to detach from that. Like it has nothing to do with you now.
And like and that's also, you know, going back to the whole like red flag gut feeling thing. Like if you're miserable somewhere, like why are you going to like stay there?
Totally.
You know, whether that be a relationship or a
Life
workplace.
is too damn short.
Yeah.
If you're not happy or if something's holding you back and, you know, you're worried about what it might look like to someone else or what someone might think and, you know, or having a bad reputation, it has nothing to do with you, you know? Like you're the main character of your own story. You write your own script. Like if you're not happy, if you're not fulfilled, then do whatever you got to do to make you happy.
And that's something that we were going to talk about anyways, is like, you know, if you feel like something like that is causing people to talk bad about you or create a bad reputation or whatever, it's like,
that's none of your concern.
That's not your business.
Yeah, it's really not.
What they're saying about you isn't your business. So who fucking cares? You know,
I was having this conversation with my brother last night, and you know, we were just going back and forth about like some stupid shit about people not supporting me, but me still like supporting them, and why do I do it if I know that they don't support me? And I just said that, you know, if they feel any type of way or they are on some weird time, like that's on them. That's a reflection of them. It has nothing to do with me. What do I lose from remaining the way that I am, which is supportive and loving and kind? You know, if they don't want to meet me halfway or do it at all, then that's fine. That's on them. But I'm still gonna be who I am, because there's nothing wrong with that. You know, no one could take that away from me. But what someone thinks about me or why they're hating on me or in general, you know, at work, whatever, I'm not concerned. Like it has nothing to do with me.
Yeah, and that's gaining control over your insecurities too, you know? Like if somebody said something bad about you, like unless it's true, it shouldn't even affect you. Just keep it moving. Like
don't be concerned about what anyone else thinks about you. I could give two shits.
I don't give a fuck, to be honest.
Or I couldn't give a fuck less.
Literally.
Yeah.
About what anybody has to say at this point. Like unless it's one of my very true friends or family that has an actual genuine concern, I literally don't care.
Yeah.
And that's what's making me so much happier in my life is like figuring out how to not give a fuck, you know? And I give a fuck about the right things, like things that matter and align with my purpose in life and what I'm trying to do. But what people have to say about me or my business or who I am as a person, what I'm trying to do, it made up shit. It doesn't concern me. So like clearly they have too much time on their hands.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you must love me, you know? Keep doing that.
Just like keep the love flowing. Like what the fuck is the problem?
Yeah, we're not.
Like what? We're not here to do this.
No, and it's, you know, actually a couple things there that I had some questions that people wrote in tie into. And someone did message me about that exactly. Someone said, coming back from a bad reputation, how do you deal with that? And our first response was like, you don't have to deal with anything, obviously, unless it's like public or like you owe someone like a public an apology or anything like that. Hopefully you don't. Who cares? who gives a shit about what someone thinks about you or what a group of people think about you? That's on them. That's their business. You move on with your life.
The best way to come back from like quote unquote a bad reputation is to remind yourself that stuff isn't true and regain control and show everybody who you really are, you know? Like
I like to use that as motivation.
Yeah.
Just like I'm just going to keep doing me and keep doing my own thing. Like I'm not going to let your opinion of me
although you do need to take accountability for mistakes that you make.
For sure.
But there is always, you know, there's always room for growth, but there's also a way to go about it too when people need to address it with you. If it's making you feel like you have a bad reputation, then I don't think that that's appropriate either. You know, like then those people really aren't your friends. And like, that's not,
we're moving on.
Like, again, not your concern.
Yeah. 0. So that's our answer on that. I want to sprinkle some of these in here because I think that we have kind of a lot to touch on. Someone asked, how is making new friends and new relationships been in Miami? It's funny because I've lived here almost a year now, and I did have friends already before I came down here. But I think making friends anywhere, you have to be careful and you have to, just look out for yourself and know who you're getting involved with. I find that I'm like a pretty good judgment of character, so I don't like get involved with the wrong people really ever. But anywhere you have to be careful, right? But living in Miami is a whole nother story.
It really is, though.
There's just so many people down here who are trying to do the same things, and there's so many people that want to connect and collab and work together and put each other on. And like, those are the people I want to surround myself with. I'm not interested or like concerned with like making just like loose friendships for fun.
Like for personal gain.
Like I'm right now, and even since I moved here, like I was, very lucky to come down here with my boyfriend. I have my dogs. Like I'm very okay with that solitude and just like having my home base and not really being out and about making friends. But so far it's been good, like I don't tend to run into like weirdos, and I've never really been put in any situation that I didn't want to be in. And if I was, I left. Yeah. So for me, it's been good, but I definitely think, stepping into the city in a relationship has also been a completely different experience than someone who's looking for a man or like out partying more and stuff. And although I've been having myself a time, it's been pretty smooth sailing, I would have to say. But I feel like your experience is a little bit different because you had you were in a workplace, and like, I just feel like at any job, it doesn't matter where you are. It could be Miami, it could be Minnesota, it could be anywhere. There's always work drama, and there's always, you're kind of like forced to be around people who maybe you wouldn't be around on a daily basis like that. And like to see someone like maybe Monday through Friday and like people that you don't really like and their energy is like just like around you and stuff. And that's a little hard,
Yeah, and you're like kind of forced to be there.
To show up every single day with a smile.
Even if you're having an off day or you don't really want to be around all that energy, you're still kind of there. I think my situation too, when I moved here, I also was single. Yeah. And I had a couple friends down here, but like not super close friends, just like people I knew, I was really moving down here kind of solo, like all alone, like the only friends I really knew were people I partied with or whatever. You were like
down here to start over.
Yeah. So it was like definitely a little bit of a roller coaster at first for me, like figuring that out and like realizing that maybe not everyone thinks like me, and that's okay. Like, and that's something that I think I had to learn too, was that I can't keep expecting people to be like me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And think the way I think or feel the way I feel or love the way I love. And like,
that's a message for everyone though. Like, you can't.
And when you do find people that are, that you do click with, like those are like people you need to like cherish. And,
yes. Nurture those relationships.
Nurture those relationships. Yeah. Because they're probably rare for you,
Absolutely.
I definitely had some issues with females when I first moved down here. Like, some drama, like girls being kind of shady with guys and doing stuff behind your back or trying to gain something from somebody that you knew, and like only hitting me up when I had something that I could give
Offer,
them.
yeah.
Yeah. So I definitely dealt with that a lot, and I had to weed through those people. And
Do you feel like, sorry to cut you off, do you
okay.
feel like that's like a Miami thing, or like?
I definitely think I experienced it more here in Miami than I did in
Because I think that that's what
Minneapolis.
people want to know. Like,
Yeah.
how is like moving to Miami and making friends down there, and how are people down there? and
It's for
stuff, you know?
sure. I think it's more in your face in Miami. Like people like are gladly gonna like be shady or like switch up on you, stabbing you in the back ain't shit to them. They've been done that before probably yesterday. You know what I mean? Like it's like a usual thing. So like that was something that was weird for me, that like people were just so blatantly fucked up, kind of hurt my feelings a lot, but like that I think made me like a little bit better and stronger, just each little individual situation that I went through like that.
That's just, everything always, you're going to learn something from that, but thank God you can turn it into that rather than being like, why?
Yeah.
Why me? Like it's not going to do anything. We have to weed those friendships out, in and out,
Yeah.
like.
And I have like people I'm cool with, but I only have like 3
like
good
solid
friends
people.
here.
Yeah. And I really find that to be like the better off way to be, and like to just like move, is to keep your circle small, and don't get too involved with too many people or telling people too much of your personal stuff. You don't know everyone's true intentions, and that's not to say like, you shouldn't blindly trust people and just like live life with open arms. But like, especially down here, I definitely think like me moving down here, my guard was up.
You need to be more guarded. And I think I didn't realize that at first.
Yeah.
And that's why it's happened to me more than it is to you, since both of us moving down here.
Well, because that shit happened to me like back home,
Yeah.
Like, so I was like, I
also
got my
think
man.
You having you moving here with Johnny, like made
Totally
a huge
different
difference.
experience
Yeah.
than if I came here and I was like, so what's up?
Yeah.
Who wants to be my friend? Like, who wants to hang out? No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't, not at least in this time in my life, like I can't even see myself having energy to deal with shit like that.
No,
It's
really
exhausting.
Yeah.
It is. But nonetheless, I think that Miami's just a place, and there's so many people here from all over the world, and everyone's trying their best in life, and I wish everyone the best. But like, some people are out here like fucking being weird and just out here to party and out here to do the wrong thing. So we don't really involve ourselves with like people like that.
It's in any big city you can get into like those crowds.
Totally.
You just gotta avoid them,
Miami's a special place though.
Yeah, very special.
Another thing that someone asked from Instagram, someone said, starting over, dealing with stress, new relationships, patience, health and wellness. That's kind of like the overall, I guess, starting over is a good thing. I'm just going to say that. Like, that obviously is pretty much, right now where you're at, where you're starting over, not working at the same place that you were working at, now doing your solo thing, and now we're doing this. Like, any new ventures,
you have to like start over, like, especially if you want to be successful and you want to follow what you feel is your purpose in life, you're gonna have to start over a lot.
Yeah.
Like,
and in general, you got to
lot.
start over a lot. I feel like
Yeah.
I've lived so many lifetimes in my 20s,
Yeah.
Someone said navigating your 20s and 30s
Yeah.
and stuff. Like, we're all just figuring shit out, Like, I can't believe it's almost been a year. It'll be a year and a month since I've lived here. And, a lot changes within you and around you and stuff. Obviously, my life is completely different. I live in a completely different place. Like, I see different people now. I do different things on a daily basis, and it's a different life. And I'm different. Like, I wouldn't want to go back to who I was when I was me last year, or me when I was 24. Like, I'm smarter now, and I take care of myself better, and I love myself more. Like, it's good over here.
I definitely like recommend, if you haven't but you want to, moving to a new city. Totally. For sure.
Yeah.
Like,
especially if you feel stuck where you are, and like, you don't have enough movement, or you just know all, you know, everyone's first and last name. You've been in that same town since you know, you were in middle school. Like, I highly recommend just getting up and starting over and really, really, really like starting a new life and a new chapter, because that's when you do the most growing.
Yes. I would have never started a podcast.
Yeah.
Before.
Even me, it took all of this for this to
Yeah.
happen, you know?
I like definitely think me moving here was like the best thing I ever did for myself. Like,
Same.
and it was so fucking hard when I first got here. I drained my bank account, like literally like maybe like dollars to my name. And like I couldn't even afford a bed. I slept on a floor. But like when I tell you it was the best decision I ever fucking made in my whole life, it definitely was. And like I look back on even that portion of those few months that I did that to save up money again, I like was still so happy with where I was, because like I had like made this huge accomplishment. Like I actually did it and I was doing it and I was okay. Like I wasn't failing. I wasn't living lavish, but like
I feel like that too, like now where you are in your life, like you look back on that and it's like it adds to your story, it adds to your character. Like adversity is almost, it's like one of the things I'm most thankful for in my life. Like, thank God I went through some crazy shit, because that's why I'm so motherfucking cool now, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm, you know, I find myself now like not, you know, embarrassed or angry about times where I was down bad in my life, but more or less grateful that they happened, because look, like we up now, sis, and it's good over here. And it also teaches you that no matter how like, you know, unpredictable or you know, different and how life changes, like you'll always figure it out. And one day you will look back on this time where maybe you're not in this good place or this place that you're proud of, but I can promise you that one day you will look back and you'll be like,
oh yeah,
thank God that happened. Thank God I was there. I learned so much from being in that place. So
it like forces you to, you know, like confront things and fears that you don't even know you have yet. Like,
yeah.
And when you do that, like you're able to like learn so much about yourself, and then you're able to become just a better version of you.
Exactly.
And like, I think that, you know, also having a good mindset when you do stuff like that, if any of you are thinking about making a change, like when I moved here, my only like goal was to just create something better. That's it. I didn't have like expectations.
Yeah, like I feel like if you move down here and you're like, well, I'm gonna figure out everything in my
find
life.
a husband.
And I'm gonna find a husband and I'm gonna make $1 million. I'm gonna make we can't escape it. I'm gonna make $10 million within my first year, like, you know, something ridiculous. But when you set that like expectation to like, you know, not that anything is unrealistic, but when you set an expectation rather than when you just kind of trust that it's all gonna work out for you.
Yes.
You know, that's why I don't really set expectations like anywhere in my life.
Once I started moving that way and living my life just operating on faith that what was coming next was meant to be, even though I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
That's when I started to live a less anxious life and more peaceful for sure.
More fulfilled.
Like I don't worry so much. Even situations that kind of suck don't make me get as riled up or depressed or sad. Like, all right, that happened. Let the thought pass. Keep it moving. Like, keep it pushing.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's because I've, you know, learned to just like trust the process.
Yeah. And like we have control over nothing. So you might as well just take it easy, you know? Yeah, I definitely think that we are both people that can give you that advice, because we're both in just a place in our lives where we're just trusting the process and learning from every single little thing that happens. And like, we'll talk about it, you know, and that's what you should do with your friends and your family and the people that you know are good for you. You know, you kind of like dissect where you're at, address it. Like, how can I learn from this? What is this teaching me? Like, those are the people you want to have around.
And if you are ever like in a situation where you like are not able to be yourself like that, then that's a big growing moment too. And I think that's part of like what I was learning when I was leaving my place of work, was that I was worrying too much about like what everybody else asked of me or like, you know, thought of me. And like, I wasn't able to say what I felt without like feeling like I was like in trouble or like crossing a line, or like when all I felt like I was just being me and being myself, and I wanted to be my authentic self, and I felt like I was having to tone that down a lot and to not like stand up for certain things that I believed in, and you know, like that's not
what you want.
That's not
you
what I
know
want.
when you're a watered down version of yourself
Yeah.
because of whatever's going on in your life and whoever's around you and stuff. Like only you know that. You know, only you could put a stop to things that you're not okay with, you know, or make some changes and stuff. The last thing that someone asked was, how do you deal with friends that don't support you? And I feel like we kind of touched on this already in this episode, but you know, if you have a friend and they're your friend and they don't support you, then they're not, I mean, most people's answer would be they're not your friend. This is ridiculous. But this is my life. But I kind of have changed my opinion on that, especially recently. Like, not that I wouldn't say that they're not your friend, but like, you can't expect everyone to think and be the way that you are, you know, especially like on Instagram. Like sometimes I'll find myself like not liking a picture that I see, not because I don't support someone, but because like maybe I didn't answer their text before. You know what I mean? So it's
Something
not that
so stupid and
yeah.
small
So
like
I've
that.
learned
Yeah.
to kind of look at it like maybe they're busy, or maybe she's pregnant, or maybe she's doing her own thing. You know what I mean? Like I don't really take it personal, and I think that we all have to do that a little bit more, is stop taking things so personally. Especially with like social media and just like the life and like, you know, everything that is now, like everyone's just doing their own thing. And the less we like worry about what other people are doing and like criticize them, or even just spend time like thinking too much about what other people are doing, like the happier we'll be with ourselves, you know? So my answer to that is I don't think you should be concerned. And I think you just also, like you said before, like you need to understand that not everyone's going to be the way that you want them to be. So
and if it's
okay.
like someone who's super close to you, you can just address it, you know, and like you'll get everything you need to know by their reaction,
Right.
and their response.
Right.
But that's just, to me, that would be just my like close people if I had, but I don't think that would happen with the people that are close to me now. But like in the past, when I've had people who are close to me and I don't feel supported by them, I just like have addressed it. And like more often, like I'd say like the majority of the time, I've gotten everything I needed to know.
Yeah.
After that.
Yeah. So again, if something is bothering you, then you address it. You know, if you want to be like an adult and you want to like learn and grow from things, like you don't bottle it up and like just like, you know, make up a story and follow this whole narrative. Like, no, it's exhausting. Like just address it. And if it's not what you want to hear, or if you don't, you know, if you don't feel good about the situation afterwards, then you do what you want with that.
I have people in my life that I have, you know, like I have acquaintances that we meet up when I go out or whatever. And that's cool. Like I'm cool with that. I'm good with that. I don't need them to text me or call me when I'm having a bad day. You know what I mean? But then I have my like friends that I can count on one hand that I can call and that call me and check up on me. And I know which ones are which. And that's just like part of being an adult. Again, you like, just because you are cool with people and coexist with them doesn't mean that they're like not good, you know, good friends. It's just that they're the friend that they're supposed to be.
Yeah, you
for
keep them where their place is, you know? I think we all have situations and people like that in our lives, you know? I want to cap it there because I don't want to make this episode too long. I feel like today we really talked about friendships and just like navigating like new places in our lives and change and kind of our experience with that so far. And maybe this will give you guys a little bit more incentive to want to dig more and like know a little bit more about us and like, you know, just specific things. Again, nothing is too off limits for us. We have a whole book of topics.
Yeah, and like Steph always puts it up on her Instagram. You can DM the Sunday Service Podcast Instagram. Like, if you have some stuff that you want us to go even deeper with, we're down.
Yeah, absolutely. We're trying to fill you guys out too, you know? So let us know what you think about this episode. Like and subscribe. We really appreciate all the support. And we will see you next week
See you
on
next
the Sunday
week.
Service Podcast.